For all of you Friends fans out there, this could be very devastating to you that it might not be your day, your week, your month, or even your year. Sorry, but not sorry on the joke. But hey, I guess we all tend to make jokes in awkward moments too.
I'm Chandler. I make jokes when I'm uncomfortable.
I know I've had this on the back burner for a little while, and I apologize in advance that I didn't get this in sooner and I might be a little behind on the news. But I feel like it's better late than never, and I feel like this kind of not comes full circle, but it kind of feels fitting because now it's almost been a month since October 28th when we lost Matthew Perry. And if you don't know that name, which I feel like by now with the news and everything that's been going on centered and circling around him in general and everything, I feel like a lot of people would know that name. But in case you don't know who that is, you would definitely recognize him as Chandler Bing from Friends. And it's just insane. It still kind of hurts, and it does feel kind of fitting that almost a month has passed, and it's just very unfortunate what has happened. And I honestly don't know what happened exactly. Maybe the details in the autopsy finally confirmed how he passed away, but the last thing I know of was that he was at someone's apartment, whether it was his or a friend's or somebody's apartment, laying there by the pool or a jacuzzi or something of a body of water, and something with he either fell or he drowned or something. He was just there and he drowned. So I don't know the full details. Maybe if you guys know if it was confirmed, like in an article or in a video, or if any of you guys know the news, let me know in the comments down below. It's just so heartbreaking because he passed at 54 years old. Some people might not think that's still young, but there was still so many years ahead of him. And it felt like there was so much he was looking forward to doing ever since the Friends reunion happened on HBO Max, because that happened in 2022. And it's not like this was like, hey, in honor of that reunion happening, Chandler is now trending all over the world and in this sensation again. But it's just coincidence, and it's kind of convenient that after that reunion, Matthew Perry became more like there was more interviews with him. And of course, he's most notably known for having his memoir. And I bought this book, and I remember really wanting this when he first announced and published this book so much, because I wanted to know about this guy. And plus, I like Chandler Bing. I'm a fan of Friends. I might be a huge fan of Friends. I'm a fan of Friends. However you want to categorize me, I like Friends. Either way, I love the show, and the fact that I was just curious about what happened with him just made me want to read about Chandler Bing pretty much. And it's not going to be like this like fine and dandy story, but I wanted to kind of at least know what happened. And you definitely know what had happened with him in his past, and even stuff in the present and stuff he was looking forward to doing. One of his big things besides doing this memoir was he really wanted to help others. He wanted to really help others that were going through the same thing he went through, because in a lot of interviews he even stated how he liked the fact that he was known for being Chandler Bing, but he didn't want to be just known for being Chandler Bing. He wanted to help others where people couldn't help themselves, to things like addiction and drug abuse. And that's where Matthew Perry kind of falls into. There was a deeper level to how much Matthew Perry went into on this, because it's like there is no escape. Even when you try and do rehab, the way it's described here in this book, there is a way, but at the same time, it's like almost like haunting you like a ghost. Disclaimer, I'm not fully done with this memoir. I'm hoping that I'm almost done with it. I'm at least at like a good how many pages do I have left? Let me check it real quick. I'm at chapter 7, if that helps anything. And there's over at least 250 pages, 250 exactly. So I'm getting close to finishing it. And I was really excited, again, to want to read this and know about his story, even if it wasn't a happy tale, at least to know the truth in a way. And it felt very interesting to find out this stuff. And obviously it's kind of been harder because since his passing, because I remember the news still like it was yesterday when I found out the details that when I was at work too. I was still working, and I remember I was doing whatever stuff in the back, and I hear my general manager say something about Matthew Perry, something about Chandler, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was about. So then, after I was done with my shift, I literally sat there and then saw the news and almost broke into tears about hearing this, that he passed away. And it was just, it felt so sudden. It didn't feel very, it didn't feel, not that it didn't feel right, but it just felt like so surprising. And a lot of deaths are surprising, but it's just the fact of, with how much he just was very trying to be optimistic and trying to be like a hero in a way for people. And then a lot of people, whenever it came to this memoir, I've talked about and referenced his last chapter called Batman, or something with Matman, because he liked the movie Batman, like the Batman that came out in 2022. I don't know quite exactly what it has to imply, but I'm assuming it has to do with the fact of just doing stuff to help the city and help the people of said city. And I think it hit me not the most, and I'm not gonna act like I'm the only person that felt this way, and I'm not gonna act like I'm the only one that felt this way, but just, there was something about Chandler Bing and then something about Matthew Perry. Like, don't get me wrong, this is my opinion, and I bet there are probably other people that share the same opinion. I'm not gonna act like I'm the only one out there that's the original and the first to ever say this, but I always liked the entire six, but I've noticed as I've gotten older, I've really liked Chandler the most. Like, he's almost become my favorite out of the bunch. Like, I like everyone individually, but I feel like somehow Chandler just stood out to me more. I don't know what it was. I think maybe it was the sarcasm, maybe it was the humor, maybe it was the heart behind it, maybe it was like kind of like the door behind the funny guy, the kind of like the emotion and kind of like the bit of the trauma, whatever it is. Whether it's a aspect of him that I feel like I related to, whether it was just something iconic about him, whatever it was, I just started to really like him more and feel like he was my favorite out of the group. And I think it maybe was because Matthew Perry just delivered that character very well. And although he didn't get the part of Chandler at first, he was able to, I guess, earn or receive that role, and I'm glad he did. And so many things I've just learned with him reading this book, and then the many films that he did and the many stars he got to work with. He got to do Fools Rush In with Salma Hayek. He got to work on a movie with River Phoenix, The Whole Nine Yards with Bruce Willis, and also other things about him that I just find so intriguing. And I think maybe that's why I like Chandler more, is because now I'm liking him more and more because of these aspects and these dynamics that I'm learning through Perry's memoir. And interesting enough, what I think is kind of even more like sentimental, not to me, but I think it's probably was very sentimental to Matthew, was that he got to have Lisa Kudrow, Phoebe herself, write this with him. So maybe he was like, hey, Lisa, can you mind just writing this up for me? Like, this is my thoughts. You write it. I'll tell you how I feel, sort of thing. You know, like it felt maybe personal to him, because obviously this is him sharing his stories. This is him sharing his story with the world, and little known facts and little bits and pieces, like the fact when the Friends cast found out when he was drinking and smoking, and his idols were actors like Tom Hanks and Michael Keaton. Even with this book, plus in his I think in his last interview, when they were bringing up the book, one of the things I still think is interesting to me to this day is that just by the look of how Chandler looks in each season, Matthew was able to know what was he on during each season, whether it was a drug, drinking, something else, some sort of medication, whatever it was. He knew each season the little details of, I was on this during this season, this during this season, and so on and so forth.
I didn't watch the show and haven't watched the show because I could go drinking, opiates, drinking, cocaine. Like, I could tell season by season by how I looked. And I don't think anybody else can, but I certainly could. And that's why I don't want to watch it, because that's what I see. That's what I noticed when I watch it. But I think I'm going to start to watch it, because it really has been an incredible, first of all, it was an incredible ride, but it's been an incredible thing to watch it touch the hearts of different generations.
And honestly, I'm not gonna sit on my box here for too long, but I really do not necessarily highly recommend, but at least suggest you guys in one way, shape, or form, check out some of his stuff, maybe pick up the book, maybe check out some of his movies, because I have actually been, even before his death, I was even curious to take a look at some of these films because I'm actually interested to find this movie that he did with River Phoenix. Maybe find The Whole Nine Yards and other films that he appeared and did. And if you've never watched Friends, I definitely would recommend and suggest watch Friends. Not only for just this sake, but just how much it's just skyrocketed and become a phenomenon. And this was the other thing that Matthew brought up, was how many generations have now watched Friends, from people my age, probably people now younger watching Friends, people older that grew up with Friends. It's all kind of like just comfort food and just a comfort show we can all watch, and it's funny, it's heart and everything. It just was captured so well. The only other stuff that I know that's been centering around Matthew Perry is everyone that's been tweeting and sharing on social media, and also the other articles about how much an impact Matthew was, how funny he was, how great of a guy he is. And then although it is hard to see him go, at least he's no longer in pain, whatever was his problem. And people are saying that maybe he was overdosed. People said that maybe something else happened, and people are spreading all sorts of lies that it was this that happened to him, but we don't know the full ordeal just yet. And I don't like that people are already saying, oh, negative things about his death. We shouldn't talk ill of the dead. But I was at one point worried that maybe he had done something much worse to himself. But I think that has simmered down, that has settled down to where I'm thinking that I think whatever we find out, and when we do, and if it's already out there, hopefully I find out soon, because I would like to know. Even if I don't even share it with you guys on the internet, at least I'd like to know from my own personal matter, to be like, okay, it wasn't something too depressing, or it wasn't too anything severe, or maybe it was just him relaxing in the water, just finally at peace, finally being able to feel at peace, and he just went out like that. That'd be the most blissful way to go, is just you're relaxed, you're happy with yourself, or you're at least content, and you just go like that, and at least that's the hope that we can have. Now, enough about me. What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Share some thoughts about Matthew Perry, share some condolences, some respects, whatever it is you want to share. If you want to share your favorite Matthew Perry moment, if you want to share your favorite Chandler moment, whatever it is, your favorite movie from him, favorite whatever it is the case may be. I have a lot of Chandler moments. I don't have a favorite per se, because there's so many good ones that are both funny, and there's so many that are very heartfelt. But the only ones I could say that are off the top of my head that I would say that are the funniest to me, I'll at least name 3 off the top of my head right now. Literally, I'll say for funniest would have to be, not in any specific order, but I think for funniest would have to be the episode with Joey wearing all of Chandler's clothes. The moment when both Joey and Chandler lose most of the apartment furniture, when Joey locks himself in the cabinets. And one that I kind of treasure a little bit more is his pink bunny right here, because Bella had got me this, I want to say last year for Halloween, or at least I remember this was definitely hands down a gift. I want to say this was last year's Halloween, or this was last year's Christmas, but either way, it's either you do brown, there was either pink bunny or no bunny. You do no bunny at all. In terms of my favorite sentimental moments off the top of my head, I will have to say 3 is, for 3, I'll have to say when Chandler's saying his vows to Monica, when he's speaking to the adoption owner about how, Monica's she's a wonderful person, and we really want this baby, and we can't conceive. And I love the moment when he says, and I'm not gonna be able to quote it exactly, but he says something of Monica's already there. She's gonna be a wonderful mother. She's already there. She's sweet. She's caring. She's determined. She's passionate. She's already a mother. She just wants this baby, and I want to be there too. And I think the other one for me would have to be I think is when Chandler talks about the life that he wants
twin
for
girls
Monica,
and
for
another
her and him. That they want this big house
think about?
with 2 kids,
Well,
maybe 3, with a cat
stuff
and a
like
dog
where
roaming
we
around the
live,
house,
you
and then
know,
Joey
like
has his own room
small
and his own
place
little
outside
apartment
the
sort of
city
thing,
where our kids
complex,
could learn to ride
whatever.
their bikes and
It's
stuff.
those things like that. I think that just
You know, we've
those
got
are
a
the
cat.
ones that come to my mind. But I think there's a lot. I think almost every moment to me is very hilarious, if not sentimental. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, please smash that button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to us videos every day, if not every week. Make sure you ring that bell, the new videos every week. Share the video with your friends, all the good stuff and more. Leave some suggestions in the comments. You name it. I'll look into it as best as possible. Look out for other stuff. Let's not worry about it at the moment. You guys know what's next. I'm not going to plug in everything for this tribute. I just want to at least take the time just to say a few things, even if it goes on for longer than I expected. I really don't care. I probably might edit some things out, but still, there's gonna be a few things here, a few things there. When I do tributes, I try not to do a lot of editing, but for this one, I really want to show a little more specific details. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Rest in peace to Matthew Perry from August 19th, 1969 to October 28th, 2023. You will be forever missed, and we'll be there for you.